So Siya Kolisi could be returning to South Africa, moving from Racing 92 to one of the South African clubs. Now this is a massive move for a couple of reasons, which we're going to dive into in this video. But I think I need to provide you with a little bit of context of why he wants to leave Racing 92 and maybe what exactly needs to happen for that move to happen. Guys, if you're new around here, please consider muring that subscribe button. We're trying to interview Siya Kolisi and Rassie Erasmus, and we need you guys to do that. Also, leave your opinions down in the comments of what you think about this move of Siya Kolisi potentially coming back to South Africa. Leave this video a like. Now let's jump into this because I think this is massive news. So after the 2023 Rugby World Cup, Siya Kolisi announced that he'll be moving from the Sharks to Racing 92 in France. Now I think there were a couple of reasons for this. Maybe he felt like he deserved the fruits of his labor. Not that he wasn't getting paid enough at the Sharks, but moving to France and joining Racing 92 is a massive paycheck. He gets paid about €1 million per season, which is one of the highest paid rugby players in the world. So why would Siya Kolisi want to move away from Racing 92 back to South Africa? Well, I do think there's a couple of reasons. I don't think he's settled in quite as well at Racing 92 and in Paris as he would have liked. You see guys like Trevor Nyakane has also moved over to Racing 92 who maybe haven't performed how they did back in South Africa. I don't think Siya Kolisi performed all that well for Racing 92, and even the owner of Racing 92 sort of came out and said that Siya Kolisi looks transparent, he looks fat, that he isn't playing well, and that's not going to bode too well for a player's confidence. Now Siya Kolisi is still signed to Racing 92 until 2026, and I think it's going to take a lot of money to get him back to South Africa because Racing 92 had to pay the Sharks about 17 million rand for him to be released from his contract, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Racing 92 ask a South African union to pay that release clause back to them. I do think Saru will probably pay the majority of that fee just to get him back into South Africa. Now, why would he want to come back to South Africa, and who's he going to play for? Well, let's start off with the first one. Why? I think we saw Rassie come out after the World Cup, after Siya Kolisi signed for Racing 92, and Rassie said that he prefers to have his captain based in South Africa. There was even discussion of who's going to be the next South African captain. Is Siya Kolisi still going to captain the Springboks even though he's based in France? And this was a big talking point for about a month or two on whether Rassie Erasmus is going to move away from Siya Kolisi or stay with Siya. Well, it's turned out that he's actually stayed with Siya. So while this might not be the main reason for Siya coming back to South Africa, I definitely think it has a part to play. I think Siya wants to play in that 2027 Rugby World Cup. I think he wants to be the captain of the Springboks going into that 2027 Rugby World Cup. So him coming back to South Africa and being closer to the system, being closer to Rassie and the coaching staff will only help that journey along. I still do think Siya is going to be around in that 2027 Rugby World Cup. So I think this is a smart move for Siya Kolisi if he still wants to be around then. Now we have to ask the question is, who is he going to sign with? Now, there's a couple of interesting options. A lot of people are suspecting that the Sharks are front runners because he was at the Sharks and they would probably love him back, which means the Sharks outfit is going to be absolutely insane with Eben Etzebeth, Trevor, Siya Kolisi, Grant Williams, Siya Masuku, Mpimpi, Andre Esterhazen. I mean, they're just going to be absolutely stacked with Springboks in that team, which is a very good thing for South African rugby. It maybe means that we can go deep in the Champions Cup. It maybe means that there's more depth for the Sharks in particular to play with in the URC and looking towards that Champions Cup. The other options are probably the Stormers. Siya Kolisi has played for the Stormers and seemed to really enjoy it there. I also think that Siya going into the Stormers and playing on a regular basis with guys like Manie Lebok, with guys like Damian Willemse, will be very good for that Springbok setup. You also see Ben Jason Dixon now coming out of the Stormers playing for the Springboks. You see Andre Hugo Venter. So maybe the Sharks is probably the most probable move, but the Stormers is a very interesting option. We can even look at the Blue Bulls, maybe a move to the Bulls where Siya hasn't played before, could develop his game a little bit more. It's often said that maybe he's a little bit slow, maybe he isn't as contact heavy as a number 6 should be in the South African top. So moving to the Bulls could definitely remedy that. I mean, we know Blue Bulls rugby, it's physical, they love to maul, they love the defensive side of the game. So maybe moving to the Blue Bulls, where it's a little bit more physical, could add a little bit of an element to Siya Kolisi's game. While I don't think it's likely, I think it could potentially be the best move for Siya Kolisi, and also just to play with different guys. I mean, he's played with the guys at the Sharks, he's played with the guys at the Stormers. Playing with the guys at the Bulls will also then just increase that synergy when it's time to move into that Springbok top. I think we also have to discuss that maybe the grass always isn't greener on the other side. We've seen a lot of players move overseas and then come back. You've seen Andre Esterhuizen move overseas, now he's back at the Sharks. You saw Trevor go to Racing 92, now he's back. Now you see Siya Kolisi, double World Cup captain, going to Racing 92 and now wanting to return to the Sharks. So yes, maybe the pay is a bit more, but I don't think the grass is always greener. South African rugby is probably in the best place it has been for a decade or two at the moment, and I think this might be the best place to be playing rugby in the world at the moment. I mean, you see the talent that is coming out of South Africa in the likes of a Sasha Ngumazulu, a Morne van den Berg, a Grant Williams. There's the breeding ground, and the type of style that South African clubs play is beneficial to the Springboks. So you almost saw a couple of years ago a lot of players were going overseas. Now you're seeing that exodus. A lot of players are now moving back to South Africa. Maybe yes, they have made their money and they're comfortable, they're financially stable, but there is a reason all of these players are moving back to South Africa, and I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing more guys from New Zealand, from England, from France coming over to South Africa in the next couple of years, 5 to 10 years, to play rugby here, because there is a reason we've won 2 World Cups in a row. There is a reason that the Stormers make it to the final in the URC, that the Bulls just made it to the final in the URC, and that the Sharks just won the Challenge Cup. The quality of South African rugby at a provincial level is world class. So a bit of a shorter video today, but I did think it was a very interesting topic about Siya Kolisi coming back. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments on your opinions of Siya coming back. Should he come back? Should he stay in France? What's the overall picture of the South African rugby landscape at the moment? If you haven't, please make sure you absolutely mur that subscribe button. Leave this video a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy. Peace.